Warning: the information contained in this podcast is explicit. This podcast is intended for adults 18 years of age or older. The information provided is not in any way medical advice. It is for educational and entertainment purposes only.
Please always seek the help of a physician before starting any diet, training, or supplementation regimen. The statements made in this podcast about any products have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. None of the products are intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. The statements made on this podcast are solely our opinions only.
Now, without further ado, please enjoy the show. Welcome to the Anabolic Cartel Podcast. I'm your host, Trevor Benko. Today, my co-host is Chris Kelly.
What's up, guys?
And this is episode 26. So we're going to talk about the NPC Pittsburgh, the prep for the Pittsburgh, how the show went, how we placed, what our plans are for the future as far as competing and so on, training. We're going to talk about the New York Pro, the Indy Pro. We're going to talk about future guests that we have coming on. Some new things coming out for our company, Iron Force Nutrition, and go from there. So it shouldn't be a real long episode. Should be good. And a lot of decent information. Okay, guys, I want to take a quick minute to recognize our newest sponsor, Let'sGetChecked.com. I've been looking for a company like this for a long time. Now is not the time to go to the doctor's office or hospitals, but I want to take care of myself. I want to know what's going on in my body. I want to get blood work done. Well, now I can do that from the comfort of my own home. Get online to Let'sGetChecked.com. Pick one of the many tests that they offer. Everything from male hormone panel, female hormone panel, estradiol, PSA, vitamin B, vitamin D, everything you can think of and then some. Pick what you want. It gets next day shipped to your house. You get your package. You activate it. You collect your sample by pricking your finger, dropping a couple drops of blood into the tube. Fill it up to the line. You then package the sample up. You use the prepaid packaged envelope to ship your results in. Within 2 to 5 days, the results are going to be given back to you. They have doctors on hand to look over the tests and the results. They have 24/7 nursing staff available to answer any questions about your lab work. And if you need treated, they can do that as well using ERX. It truly doesn't get any better than this, guys. I mean, if you want to take care of yourself, this is the most convenient way to do that and be as confidential as possible. No answering questions as to why you want these tests done. You pay, you get the tests, you get the results, and you can track the results over long term using the app that they have. So today, they're offering us a discount with coupon code CARTEL30. You save 30% on your entire order from now till the end of the year. So please, guys, look after your health. Take advantage of this. All right, so use Cartel30, Let'sGetChecked.com. Check them out. Let's start with talking about the prep for the Pittsburgh. This is your first show, Chris. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so it was my first show ever. When I started it, I was 19, and it was a 16-week prep, and I honestly enjoyed every bit of it. There was times where it was rough, but honestly, it was mostly cruise control the whole way through. Depletion, like a week and a half out, that was probably the roughest part. But once the carb up started and, come show day, it was all worth it, and I really enjoyed the whole thing.
So as far as, training and everything, how did you feel strength-wise? Was it what you expected?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of figured that I was going to be getting weaker, and, it slowly got weaker and weaker week by week, but, I maintained a lot of it. Like, I didn't lose much, in my opinion, like on my bench or anything like that, or a machine press or anything, but other than that, I mean, it went pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, I think you did pretty good. What about the mental aspects? I mean, there was times where you were really starting to question everything. You start having doubts. How was the mental
That was the worst part. I mean, I'll admit, I was down some days. I mean, I was down for weeks at times, and I just got through it. I mean, even like Sandy and Maud, and like they were questioning me like if I was like depressed or not, and I was just going through my body changing, not seeing the changes I wanted at the time, or just wanting things to speed up. It's just a process, and you have to take your time with it, and it will come.
Yeah, it's all normal. That's part of the whole ordeal. Honestly, that's the part that most people can't handle, and ends up breaking them down, and they end up fucking themselves up. A lot of people think they're not lean enough, so they take extra drugs, they do extra cardio, they run themselves into the ground. That's the hardest part, because you got to be confident, but as a bodybuilder, you're never going to be happy, you're never going to be satisfied, you're never going to think you look good enough. So you got to have that balance where you can be honest with yourself and give yourself a real assessment of what's going on. If you know you're putting in the work, then you know that you're in the right direction. I mean, you can only do so many things, and if you're doing those things right, then you should be making progress, especially if you've been doing this for a while. So like for me, I haven't competed since I was your age. I was 19. It's been almost 14 years. So, I've coached tons of people since then, and I had competed twice in the past as a teenager. It's a whole different thing as a teenager and as an adult, because now I've been experienced in the industry for so many years. I've helped so many people get ready. I've worked with Maud for so many years, and I know what to do. I know when to do it. So I don't have as much doubt or questions. I just follow the plan that's there. And if I do, everybody has that. So when I do start to have a little bit of doubt, or I just, I'm not quite sure, I'll ask somebody that I trust, which is really Maud. Jason Arndt, he offers some advice, and obviously he was on the Olympia stage and somebody that's a friend. So I trust his opinion. Our old training partner, Bill, Bill will tell you what he thinks, whether it's true or not, or, but he'll tell you what he really thinks. And that's good to have, because you don't want somebody that's just going to be patting you on the back and telling you you're doing good or that you look good when, you might not, because you're going to have days you're not going to look as good. You're going to be flat sometimes. You're not going to have as good of a pump when you're depleted. You're not going to be as strong. You're going to feel like shit. You're going to be tired. So that's all part of it. So you just got to know, today I might look a little off, but when I eat the carbs and you fill back up, you're going to look a lot better. And I think you gain that over time with confidence. When you're to your first show, you don't have all that experience. You just don't have that. So it's a lot harder. I think you did really well, considering it's your first show. Mentally, you kept it together pretty good. You didn't have any breakdowns. So, I think you did really well.
I was mostly just worried about the show itself, just bringing my best package.
Yeah, you want to do good. It's everybody wants to look their best, and that's normal. You didn't do anything that was abnormal. It's just it's your first show. So.
Yeah, I questioned everything every day with you. What about this or that? Trying to mix things up.
Well, I'm around you a lot too, so you're gonna ask me more, and it's just normal. I just tell you not to worry about it.
Yeah,
do your thing. I think you did really well, especially for a teen. And you've only been training bodybuilding for what, a year and a half now?
Year and a half.
You've been training with me for like a year and a half. Mm-hmm. You've made tremendous progress. So, who would have thought you'd been where you were to where you are now? So that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And you got tons of potential, and you're still young, totally drug-free, which is big. A lot of guys jump right into that early, and I think that's a big mistake. Eventually, if that's something you want to pursue seriously, obviously, that's part of it. But too early is not a good thing either.
Yeah.
Most of those guys end up burning out early, and they end up going nowhere, so it's definitely best to do what you can naturally first. So, we prepped for like 20 weeks, 16 weeks. We really pushed it for probably 16 weeks. And, the training was really intense. There was some pretty crazy workouts, considering, I think for me, I was running on a lot of adrenaline, from the drugs and the anabolics, the stimulants, and just wanting to succeed and knowing that the competition that was going to be there was going to be really good. Every time I was training, I would think about pushing harder than the next guy, because they're training hard, and you just want to do your absolute best. So if you do that, you don't have any regrets when it's time for the show, and you learn from it. The show went pretty well. I mean, I enjoyed it. I was way more relaxed competing than normally when I'm backstage helping people get ready for the show or get ready to go out. That's a lot of stress, man. I didn't realize how stressful it was until I competed again myself. But I mean, man, it was like I didn't feel stressed at all. I mean, I wasn't nervous. I felt really good. Maybe the first time when you're getting ready to go out, they rushed us. That was one thing. We had to wait outside for like, an hour and a half.
An hour.
And then luckily we ran into Chris Domenico, and he had a couple guys he was coaching. So we got to talk to him, which is nice because we haven't seen him in a while. And that, kind of calms you down a little bit. And then as soon as we got back there, we literally, I told Chris we better start getting glazed up and getting ready to go. And good thing we did. We thought he was going first. And here I was the one that went first. And it was like as soon as we got everything ready, I mean, I didn't even have time to pump up. I was pumping up in line as we were going out on stage. So I was a little nervous getting ready to go out because I just knew I wasn't pumped yet. But by the time you do actually go out, I mean, if you're flexing hard, you're pretty pumped up. So, I mean, it was decent. And then, once I went out the second time, I felt a lot better. Posing went really well. I did work with Kenny Wallich for posing, and he did help me. I was surprised with some of the things that he helped me with. But, I mean, everybody says he's the best for a reason. So, and we posed way more than probably most people, pretty much daily. I mean, almost daily.
Every single day after training.
Yeah. So, and we recorded a lot of it. We recorded a lot of training too, but it seemed like as they got closer to the end, we got less and less. We were just so focused and tired, and we just didn't do as much recording as I would have liked probably. But it was still, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I like the fact that you get to embrace that addictive personality. And, as much as I hate using the drugs, I enjoy using them as well. So it felt really good to be able to go all out and just not think about anything else for a little while and just focus on the show. And it definitely paid off. We definitely made some really good improvements. We both looked good. I ended up getting 5th place in the open and closed heavyweight Pittsburgh. I thought I could have been placed a little bit higher, but the guys that placed higher were definitely a little tighter in the legs, like the lower half, and they're probably more experienced as far as doing shows. But overall, I thought I was up there with the best, and they qualified the top 5, which they've never done for a show at the Pittsburgh before. So the top 5 got qualified for nationals, and I was happy with that. The guy that won, he was definitely a little bit better, than everybody else. His legs were a little tighter. He had a lot of people pulling for him too, but he did look like he deserved it. So that's a good thing. He ended up winning the whole show too. So, he was definitely good. Chris, do you want to tell him how you did?
Yeah, so I got 2nd place in my class, which was the teen division. And, I felt that the kid that did win, he was tighter all around. He was leaner all around. So, of course, the judges are going to pick that, which I was totally fine with. Because, I could have been leaner. And, everyone's going to say, they could have been better. But, other than that, I was really happy with the experience. I mean, I honestly wasn't nervous at all. Like, even seeing, the other kid or just going out on stage, like I enjoyed it. Like I honestly felt at home up on stage, showing off what I worked for, and I was real comfortable backstage, on stage. But I was happy with everything. And I qualified too for nationals, but I don't think I'm going to end up doing it because I actually don't know if I'm able to because I'm 20 now.
Yeah, I think you still can, but we'd have to check. But for teen nationals, it's almost like, is it worth it? It's cool to do it, but you can't get a pro card. So it's more of an experience thing than anything. Plus, if you do well, I mean, obviously you'll get more attention, but, it's definitely a tough show. But I mean, it wouldn't be a bad idea just to do it for experience. But at the same time, you could go into growing and getting ready for the next show. It's a big jump from the teens up into the, adult classes. But, I mean, you were right there. Overall, I thought you looked better. But for bodybuilding, they do usually go with the tighter guys. And that's the same thing that happened with me. I mean, there was a couple guys I thought I was better than overall, like shape and everything. But they were a little bit tighter, and, that's what they picked. So that's just how it goes. And, so that's the goal. Next time, get a little bit tighter. The more you do this, the longer you do it, the better you get. And for me, I want to bring up my hamstrings, my calves, and I'm definitely going to work glutes and lower back a little bit more. So definitely no excuses. It is what it is. And that's just fuel for the next one, I'm going to think about doing the North Americans and see, we're going to kind of prepare for it, see how things go, see how I look. If I think that I look well enough that I have a chance to win, then I'll do it. If I don't think I have a chance to win, then I'll just wait till the next one. It's no big deal. Who knows what may happen in the meantime? I mean, I still have a hernia that needs fixed. So you never know. But it gives me something to shoot for. And we've been training harder than ever, really. Definitely enjoying the training now. And it was really nice to be able to eat. I had to weigh in at 225 and a quarter. And the night before, I was like 227.5 or 0.2. So I didn't fill up as much as I probably would have for the show, but I still wouldn't have filled up enough. And I didn't realize that till after the show, because it took 3 days of, pounding carbs and garbage food really to fill up and spill over. So I could have ate, well over 500 grams of carbs probably for 3 days had I been lean enough and low enough in weight to do that. So that was a nice learning experience there. Also, seeing how the diuretics work with your body, but that changes every time. So that it's kind of hard to take a lot away from that. But I didn't take a lot at all. I just took hydrochlorothiazide, a very low dose. Really, just mainly was worried about making the weight. And once I did, then I was able to eat. So I probably ate like half of the carbs I would have, which is, I wanted to play it safe anyway. I didn't want to spill over, look bad. So I would have probably done that anyway. But, the next show, I don't know. I'm going to just kind of see where I end up. If my weight's close, and I'm just going to go where I go, because I feel like I could easily be 235 and be just as conditioned. And, if that happens, I'll just do the super heavyweight class. So we'll see. So that's the goal for now. We've been following actually one of John Meadows' training plans, the Doomsday Plan. I believe he used that to train for the 2013 Nationals. I want to say that's when he got his pro card. It was sometime around there. But it's a great plan. I mean, I really enjoy it. It's different than what we're used to. Lower reps, heavier weight, a little less volume, so you're a little bit stronger. Just a different variation. It was a nice mix-up because we were really pushing the volume and the training leading up to the show, which obviously, you're going to do. So, but yeah, this has been good. And I already feel like putting on strength, putting on size. I'm up to about 242 pounds and feel really good. Still pretty tight. Definitely lost a little bit of lines, like separation in the legs and the glutes just a little bit. They're a lot more blurry than they were. But that's about it, really. So feeling pretty good.
Do you enjoy listening to the Anabolic Cartel podcast? Then you'll love our new magazine. The Anabolic Cartel magazine is now available through our newly relaunched anaboliccartel.com website. There, you can purchase our magazine, apparel, and shaker cups while also keeping up to date with our posts on our forum and blog. Do you have a question you would like answered? Leave us a review and post in the comments section of the review, and we may just answer that on our next podcast. 5-star reviews help us greatly. Also, don't forget to follow us on social media at Anabolic Cartel to stay up to date.
So, what's your plans from now?
Yeah, so I've just decided that I'm not going to do the Nationals because, like you said, I mean, it's a great learning experience or experience to go, but there's nothing, in it. You can't get a pro card, you really don't even get that recognized. So the next, I'm saying 2 to 4 years, it could be 3, it could be all the way up to 4. I'm just going to, focus on putting on as much size as I can, and then I want to go back and do the Pittsburgh. And my thing is, yeah, it's cool to just go compete, but if I'm going to compete, I'd want to win. Yeah. So I'm going to take the time, build the physique I want. It's never going to be what you really want, but I'm going to put the time in, build it up, and go back and win whatever class I end up doing.
Yeah, that's the best way to look at it. Just do your best, and you should want to win if you're going to do it. I mean, a lot of people obviously do it for different reasons, but, we're doing it because we want to look good and be serious about it. You want to win. So, yeah, that's all I thought about was winning. And, when you get there, it is what it is, and you just kind of learn from it and get better. That's all. You never know what's going to happen at the show, especially the Pittsburgh. I mean, the Pittsburgh's a tough show, man. I mean, we had guys in my class from Maine, California. I mean, there's some really good guys, and you're going to see a lot of these guys at the Nationals, so we'll see what happens. But it's cool when you're up in that running, with those top guys to see, how you compare. So it kind of gives you a really good idea where you stand and what you want to work on. Definitely enjoy that. I wish they would have moved us around a little bit more. That's one thing I wish they would have done, because they didn't really move us at all. At least they didn't move me off the side, so I stayed in the same spot. It'd be nice to move, because sometimes the lights are a little bit different on the ends. Pittsburgh lighting's terrible anyway. So to say that I was actually happy with the way the pictures looked, that's rare, because the Pittsburgh lighting is shit. It's probably the worst lighting I've ever seen at any show. But I mean, it's probably for a reason, because that way they can see all your flaws. And it's not just you, it's everybody that has that same lighting. So, everybody doesn't look as good. I mean, if you see the guy that won, some of his pictures post-show, I mean, his legs looked absolutely insane. And on stage, I mean, they looked good, but they didn't look as good as they did, in better lighting, of course. So that's just the way that goes. But yeah, so that's the plans on that for now. We've been working hard since the show as far as on other things. We've been working on the Iron Forged line. We have a couple new products coming out. We have a phosphatidic acid product coming out, which is like a natural anabolic. What it does is it stimulates mTOR, which is protein synthesis, similar to like a leucine, but at a much higher rate. Now, the competition out there is using a 50% extract, and the reason they're doing that is because there was a study done using this 50% extract, and they have a trademark name for it. Do you know what the name is? I can't remember.
Mediator,
that's right. Mediator PA. And that's a 50%. So they had research showing that 50% extract did so much to increase protein synthesis and turn on mTOR. So we're using a 90% phosphatidic acid and providing about the same amount that you're going to get with the companies using the 50%. And the price is going to be very close to what it's going to be for the 50%, because we're not using a trademarked ingredient. So I think it's going to be a phenomenal product. We're going to put a lot of information out on it. Like, for one thing, for example, if they say it's best not to take it with your protein, which a lot of people do. So you want to separate it, maybe take it while you're working out, maybe drink it with some aminos instead of some protein. Try to take it at different times, maybe first thing in the morning or post-training before you drink your protein, because taking them together, it was shown to decrease the effectiveness of both, which is pretty crazy. That's just one study, but any little thing can make a difference sometimes. It's also supposed to increase the sensitivity of the muscle cells for older adults and help them be able to put on muscle and increase their protein synthesis and nitrogen retention, which is a really good thing if you're a little bit older. So we got that coming in a powder form, in a pill form, and we're also reformulating our Contraband pre-workout. And what we're doing with that's pretty unique. We're changing the formula. We actually tested it out today. I tested it out yesterday also. What did you think of it, Chris?
I loved it. It was pretty wicked. I mean, honestly, I felt like I had like a little buzz going on for like the first 25 minutes of my workout, and then it was like a real smooth focus, real clean energy, good pump. It was all around a really good experience with it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I noticed as well. Is initially you almost get a little like a euphoric effect, and that's a lot because of the ingredients that we're using. It's pretty interesting. I think it's going to be a big seller. I think it's going to hit different markets because it's going to be able to appeal to different types of people. We have nootropics in there that are really going to help and are synergistic. So they're going to increase the uptake of choline. We're going to increase the conversion of choline, so you're going to have more choline available. I think it's going to be phenomenal. I mean, the feeling you get from it is it's something that you can't deny, and everybody that has tried it has seemed to feel it. So I like that. A lot of people use something like beta-alanine for that because you feel that. Even though it doesn't actually do anything as far as the benefits, not right away. It takes almost a month for beta-alanine to build up enough to where it actually has the lactic acid buffering effect. But you feel it, and that's what makes people think it's doing something. So with this, you're going to feel it, but it is actually doing something. It's actually working. And we put some ingredients in there to help with pain tolerance. They're all natural, safe. I really think it's going to be one of a kind, and it's also got the same steady energy that it's known for. Everybody that likes Contrabands because it's smooth, there's no crash. I mean, it is nice and steady. It's going to increase dopamine levels, noradrenaline levels. It's going to get you going, but it's not going to get you over the top or make you sick. You could use it for gaming, for studying, just as a healthy energy drink. It's going to increase blood flow. We're still using the actual L-citrulline, which is by far the best, compared to the malate. A lot of people will argue with that, but there was a chemist that spoke recently about the citrulline malate and that it's not even possible chemically to make a 2-to-1 citrulline malate, that it's literally just putting the powders together and saying that it's 2-to-1. They do that in the first place to increase the solubility in water, but you could dissolve up to 10 grams of citrulline in a very small amount of water, so you don't need to increase the water solubility. So there's really no point other than it's cheaper and it's easier to get. We did bring back an ingredient that a lot of people, it was big for a while and now it's kind of died off, and that's the agmatine. And the reason why it's died off is it was known for increase in vasodilation and increase in blood flow. Well, we're using it to help with the pain tolerance and helping with the sensitivity of the cells. It's supposed to help a lot with increasing your pain tolerance. It's supposed to be good for people that are going through opiate addictions to help with recovery. Something that's interesting. It has a lot of other uses than what people are typically know it for. I don't want to go too far into the formula here, but there are a lot of other good things in here that I think you will find interesting for sure. And it's definitely synergistic. So that'll be coming out soon. And the big thing about that is the way we're going to package it, which we'll also just not go too far into yet. I don't want everybody copying what we're going to do until it's at least out there. So we'll see how it goes, but I'm excited about it. We're also working on a protein, and protein's probably the worst product to put out as far as profits. It takes the most amount of money, but we're doing it because we feel like we need a good protein that we can rely on, that we're going to be able to constantly have available in stock and have more control of. Right now, we recommend like the Leica Pro, for example. That's a good isolate. Rule 1's another one we use a lot, but it'd be nice to have one that we can have for ourselves and do what we want with it. So that's in the works as well. Hopefully that will work out. That's still a little ways away. All right. So moving on from that, let's talk about the Indy Pro and the New York Pro real quick. What'd you think of those shows?
I think the front runners for each of those shows, they came out and they won both. I mean, Justin won Indy, which I think he deserved, and Nick won New York, and I think he really deserved that too. I'm not the biggest fan of Blessing getting third at the Indy. I felt that Dorian was better than him, but
Dorian Haywood?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think the placings at the New York were good. Everyone came in looking really good. I mean, if it wasn't for Justin's lat spread cramping at prejudging,
yeah, that was bad.
I feel that it would have been a little bit different, closer. I still think Nick would have came out with the win because Nick was just outstanding. I mean, he was peeled.
Yeah. I mean, that's the only place that Justin probably had him for sure, was the lat spread. The double bicep was really close, but Nick's hamstrings were better for sure. I mean, I thought Nick deserved it for sure. He looks phenomenal. I mean, his legs are just ridiculous. They really are.
Yeah.
It was a good show.
Mm-hmm.
It was a real good show.
It was the most exciting because of the hype that Blessing brought to it.
Yeah, that definitely helped. He's definitely exciting, and he's still up and coming. I mean, man, he's still young. This is only, his second show?
Yeah, second pro show.
So, I mean, geez, he's got a lot to do yet. Also, what's his name? Hassan Mustafa.
Mm-hmm.
He come out of nowhere at the last minute and was pretty competitive, pretty well-rounded muscles, but didn't look as hard as some of the others.
His conditioning was a little off.
Yeah.
He wasn't. If he would have had like a couple days,
and that could even have been him flying. If you got to fly.
Well, he was here.
Oh, was he here?
Yeah, he was here.
Yeah, he might just adjust into the food, or who knows what. It could have just been an off day. Sometimes that happens, the timing. But, he had a lot of muscle on him.
Yeah.
I was surprised.
He has, raw meat legs.
Yeah, they were really round and full. Blessing got, sixth?
6, yeah.
Dorian Haywood ended up beating him. He ended up getting fourth at that show, which I thought it was well-deserved.
And then you had the 212.
Yeah. Who ended up winning that? That was...
Indy Pro, that Tony Burton Was that his name?
I think so. And John Jewett got, what? Third.
Nathan Epler got second. And then the following week, at the New York Pro, Nathan Epler and John Jewett came back.
First and
battled
second.
it out. Yep.
Yeah, and I really thought John Jewett was going to win. But Nathan Epler did look, I thought, a little bit better. Just shape-wise.
The shape.
In my opinion.
Because at certain angles, I mean, John Jewett is a great bodybuilder.
Yeah, he looks a lot better.
He looks really good. But at some angles, he just kind of like, he loses.
It's just his shape, I think. It's just his natural shape. But, man, he was right there. I really wanted him to win. Him and his wife both are phenomenal competitors, and he's a really good coach as well. Everybody speaks highly of him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he actually coached himself into this show.
Yeah, which is really difficult to do. I mean, that's really tough. Not many people do that.
No.
That's very difficult. The Indy, I wasn't so sold on the winner. I kind of thought maybe top 3. I didn't think he was the best. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, that was actually his first pro show, too.
Yeah. But, I mean, he did look good, no doubt about it.
Yeah, he looked good. I mean, there's people, like, commenting about how he has, like, a bubble gut already forming and this and that. So, some people are going to make the fight for that, saying how he shouldn't have won. But he was conditioned well. He had a pretty good shape. But, like you said, I mean, would have liked to see John Jewett win.
Yeah, I would have liked to see that, too.
If you're from the Pittsburgh area or traveling through and haven't checked out the Iron Forge Gym, be sure to stop by 253 South Mount Vernon Avenue, Uniontown, PA 15401 and check us out. It's 24-hour access for members and day passes are available. We've added a couple new pieces already since opening and we plan on continuing to expand. We also offer personal training and bodybuilding coaching. For more information, call us at 724-550-4595 or message us on social media at the Iron Forge Gym. Be sure to check out our Iron Forge Gym apparel at ironforgenutrition.com as well as tgbsupplements.com. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Facebook to see some of Trevor's top lifts in the gym and to stay current with our events and fitness news. We plan on continuing to show our appreciation for our members and those who support us with competitions, events, and much more.
Wanted to talk about our upcoming guests. We have Jim Magnone coming on this week, so that'll be good. And then we're planning on having Wesley Inman come on again. Some of you guys may know him, but Wes is a friend of mine, and he recently had another surgery. So we're going to talk about what he did to heal so quickly. I mean, the guy healed like overnight. I mean, I think he tore his tricep this time. I mean, he's had some serious injuries over the years, and he recovers quick. And I mean, he's probably in his, I'd say mid-40s now.
Yeah.
I mean, he looks phenomenal. So we're going to get him on and talk a little bit about that and what he has been up to lately. He was in a previous episode of ours. I can't remember what number it was. It was probably like 4 or 5, something like that. Anyway, so that's coming soon. We're going to try to hit a couple episodes back to back and put out some content for you guys. I know we have been delayed, and with the show and everything, we just haven't been keeping up like I would like. So I also was on a podcast. It just released last Wednesday. It's called The Spark, and it was about PTSD. The host, they call him Officer Tony, or they also have a Facebook group, I think it's called Officer Tony Behind the Badge, but he had been involved in a shooting, and he was almost killed. He had gotten shot and ended up killing the suspect, him and his partner, and, it was a traumatic experience. The officer ended up shooting every bullet that he had in his gun, had nothing left, and the guy, the perpetrator, actually had a gun pointed at him, and, it could have killed him. But it didn't end up that way. But it definitely played a big role on his life and messed with his head for a while. And he had to go through a really long, difficult recovery. And he's not the type of guy to do a podcast normally. So it really, this is part of helping him heal. And this was like their 25th episode. And they said it was the best one that they had. I mean, I came on and pretty much told my personal story of where I began my life growing up. I mean, open, like really put it out there, everything I've been through, all the lows, and how everything got started. So it was like 2 hours long. It was supposed to be an hour. It ended up being like 2 hours and 40 some minutes long. If you guys are fans of the show and you're fans of mine, you'll probably like it. It really goes into detail about how I got to where I am today. So if you want to check that out, it's called The Spark. I think it's episode 25. You could find it on any place where you listen to a podcast. So, all right. So that's going to pretty much wrap it up for this episode, I think. Anything else you want to talk about?
I'm good.
All right. So that's going to cover it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It's a little shorter than normal, but we wanted to just put something out, let you guys know how the show went. So, check us out on social media, obviously, all our different channels. Make sure you stop into TGB Supplements for your supplements. And if you're in the area, check out our gym, the Iron Force Gym, and follow us on social media for the gym as well. We have a lot of training footage up. You can see pictures of Chris and I getting ready for the show pictures, that kind of thing. So if you want to check those out, you can. Thank you guys for the support, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you guys for listening to another episode of the Anabolic Cartel podcast. If you know somebody that you would like us to have on as a guest, or if you know somebody that's looking to have an ad on our podcast, please reach out to us through Instagram or Facebook at Anabolic Cartel. You can also reach us at the www.anaboliccartel.com website, which is newly refinished. And last but not least, if you enjoyed the podcast, please leave us a 5-star review. And if you ask a question in the comments section of the review, we may just answer your question on the air. Thank you guys for your time and support. It's greatly appreciated. We'll be back with another one soon.